Hello, everybody. Hi. Nice to see y'all here. I think that they did a new layout because now it looks like my face is being covered by the check-in button. So let me see if I can move that. Oh. Okay. I guess I'll just be a square. Not sure when that changed, but hi, thank you all for tuning in. This is the intro to Dev or AI Dev Tools workshop. Super glad that y'all are here. I asked y'all for a quick question about what we're tuning in from, so let's go over that. But before I do that, actually, let me make this check-in link. Let me put this in the chat. And so it looks like I can't highlight anything anymore, otherwise it's going to cover my face. Here's the check-in link. That still covers my face. Okay, well, that is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Sorry. But hello, Michigan, USA, very fun. India, very cool, very cool. What time is it in India right now? 7:32 a.m. Honestly, that's not too bad. I feel like most of the workshops have been pretty late for IST, but like 7:32 a.m. is doable. It's a little early in the morning, but doable nonetheless. Also, oh, hi, I see someone from Maryland. Hello. So I usually do like an intro slide before I start, but I think I spent too much time on this stream, and I built out like a really long slide deck. So because of that, I had to delete some slides to fit it into this like streaming platform. So I don't have an intro slide or a like conclusion slide, but it works nonetheless. Oh, there you go. Oh, okay. I think I'm gonna keep that. That looks like it's working. But yes, thank you all so much for joining. If you watched last month's Global Hack Week, I ran a session very similar to this. And this time we're just taking a deeper dive and we're going to go over some more concepts. So super glad y'all are here. And usually I like transition into the slide, but also since now that it's gone, make sure that you check in to this event, check into the link. Checking in is the way that we track your attendance and the way that we make sure that you are getting the necessary rewards for taking your time to be here. So please check in at that link. It's benefiting you, so we want to make sure that you're getting your benefits. So check in at that link. And since I've got my intro slide up here, hi, I'm Varshini. I'm a coach at Major League Hacking. And a fun fact about me is that I've moved 13 different times throughout my life. So I see a lot of y'all are from a lot of different places. I actually have lived in India at one point, so that's one of the 13 places I've lived in. But yeah, I've moved around a lot. And if any of y'all have any fun, interesting moving stories, I'd love to hear them. But I'm going to get started on our workshop and let me know if y'all have any thoughts, anything that comes up. So actually I deleted my title slide, so I'm just going to go over what I wanted to say here. But I just want to say, like, this is going to be a quick little Gen AI dev tool session. We're going to be spending the next 2 hours just building some super cool applications by using the open source tools that we have available to us now. So I know that there's been a lot of like news and I guess just like general discussions in the software development community about Gen AI dev tools and using generative AI to code a lot of different things. So this session is kind of just supposed to be like It's not scary. You should use it. Obviously, don't become over reliant on it. You want to make sure that you are getting your knowledge and still being able to code properly. But this is also just showing you that you can use Gen AI to advance your skills as well. So this is kind of just like a fun little thing that I had. And I just wanted to talk just in general about generative AI, that it's kind of not it's not like a fad or like something that'll pass in a little bit. It's basically shifting how we think about software in general. Because previously, we've been focusing on like logic-based programming where we're telling computers how to do everything. But now we've built these tools and now we can just tell these tools what we want and they can handle how we do it. So previously, like we'd have to tell the computer step by step, like I've mentioned this analogy before, but like when you start learning programming, they give you this example of like a robot that's given a peanut butter jar and then like a jelly jar, and you have to give the robot instructions to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And obviously, you think you're giving it super clear instructions, and you'll be like, "Oh, do this and do this and do this," but then the robot gets confused and does something that you don't want it to do, which is always really funny to hear. But now it's a little bit different with generative AI, because now you can change things and you can just ask your generative AI to make those changes for you, and you don't have to do them anymore. So that's just kind of like a fun little thing to think about, that we've kind of fundamentally changed how we want to think about this. But yeah, let me know also, by the way, if you can't see the slides. I'm like honestly not sure if it's. Oh, see that doesn't make it better. Oh no. Wow, I just removed myself from the screen. Okay. Yeah, tell me if that's hard for your vision to see those slides. I really am not sure what happened with the layout here. It was working just fine when I tested it, but something's going on there. But yeah, let me know if you can't see it and I'll try to find a way to work around it. But I wanted to do like a quick little interactive poll before we got started. So just let me know where you are in your Gen AI journey. Are you like A? So I want to see you type your letters in the chat for what you are on this like fun little poll. And if you're something in the middle, just put those 2 letters, put those 3 letters, put those 4 letters if you don't know what you are. But if you are the explorer, you're just curious, you're here to see what's possible, put an A. If you're a regular user of tools like Gemini, so like the user, put B. If you've written like some code and built a single app, put D, the tinkerer. And if you're actively building and deploying Gen AI applications, put D for the builder. So you can think about it as it increases in advanced skill as you go from A to D. But no answer is wrong. I'm super excited to see what skill levels we have watching this stream so that I can know how to best help y'all. I see Ritesh says D. Very cool. Okay, I'm really glad you are here watching our stream. Hi, I just saw a big uptick in the amount of people watching this stream. Hello, we just started the stream. We're doing a quick little poll right now. So feel free to drop a letter in the chat representing which part of this poll you fall on. Kiving Tonka says C. Okay, very cool. Try to build a simple app. That's interesting. Game changer A. Okay, this session is perfect for you. It's a little, I guess like there's not like an intro and it's not a deep dive. It's like a medium dive. So this is a medium dive. So you'll be a little bit more advanced in Gen AI after this. Hello, buddy. I can't check in through my phone. You should be able to. This is the check-in link. If you just type this link into your phone, whatever browser you use, you should be able to check in. It's not device dependent, but let me know if you're still running into some issues. Noob School says B or C. Okay, yeah, you're in that middle. Hopefully this session will push you a little bit more into C and give you those skills to build another app. Who China Jumachi says A. Okay, very fun. Just curious, here to see what's possible. Great. I really love y'all's nicknames. I feel like I'm never that creative. I think my username for everything has always been like Varshini Logan, like my first name and like half of my last name. I've never been that creative, but y'all are very creative. Every time I see a stream, I'm like, oh, I haven't seen that one before. I think that's maybe time. Love that y'all have some creative names. But I think the chat is slowing down. I don't see too many responses anymore, so I'm gonna move on. But feel free to keep sending in your responses. There is a bit of a delay between Twitch and YouTube and like the platform that I'm on. So if you sent something and it's not showing up yet, don't worry. I'll pull it up the second I see it. But that is super cool. We've got a great mix of people. I think we actually did, yeah, we got every single letter. So that is great. Super excited. And hopefully by the end of the session, we'll push you more towards the next tier of, I guess, skill level, and you'll be a little bit more confident in your skills. But I wanted to also just like temper the expectations we have around AI. Like none of y'all live under a rock. You're here on this stream. You've definitely heard of like the prevalence of AI and like the hype around AI and just like the general concern around AI. So I just wanted to put out there that like there's like this big cycle that people go through where they're like, oh my God, AI is going to do everything. It's going to replace every job. That's like part one. And then part two is like, oh, but like AI can't really do everything. Like you need to prompt engineer it properly. It doesn't work. And then three is like, oh, that's the step that I want y'all to get to where it's like, oh, I can do this. Like it's fine. And yeah, this is just like a fun little slide, but I just wanted to make sure that we're tempering expectations for AI. It's not this like do all, can do all solution, but it's also not something that doesn't work as often. It's kind of like in the middle. It's a good solution, but it's not the solution or like the everything solution either. So I also wanted to give a brief overview of like the different parallels between AI because I think this can be really confusing if you like don't really know that much about AI. So I found it confusing when I first started, so I'm going to explain that really quick. But when you start building with AI and just building in general, you kind of have a choice between these like two worlds. You can either have this like closed source, like walled gardens type of world where you have these giants, like giant players in the game, where like OpenAI or Google, and these models are super powerful and they're really easy to access. Like if you've ever used Gemini, just then you need that Gemini API, and now you have access to Google's Gen AI dev tools. But it is super easy to access. Unfortunately, it does come with a catch, and that's a black box because you don't really know how it works. Obviously, we all have a rough idea of how AI works, or at least people in the industry do. But because they're such big giants, OpenAI and ChatGPT, we don't really know like exactly how their models work, and definitely not for the common person. Like maybe some really invested software developer knows what is going on between those models, but most people don't. So that's kind of the catch. It's basically like a black box, and also your cost can escalate like really, really quickly. If you've ever used APIs like at a hackathon or something like that, you'll hit a rate limit like very soon sometimes. So your cost can escalate very quickly if you're using it for business purposes as well. And also, you're just kind of locked onto their platform once you start using it. But then you kind of have this like open source, like open frontier type of world where you have companies like Meta and Mistral, and these movements are kind of I guess powered by the open source communities, so like communities that live on GitHub. And this is where developers like us get to get most of our knowledge and ability and confidence from, because we can customize completely a model. We can fine tune a model based on our specific data. And we can also just be really transparent with our models, own our entire stack. Like there's a lot of benefits. It's just like open. Everything that we do is something that we can do, and it's not something that like a company, a big corporation does, because we can really we can really like fine tune our data based on our specific needs. Sorry, I don't know how like professional streamers do it. Like when I see a comment, I immediately have to go and reply, or like I'm thinking about a response in my head and I can't multitask and continue talking about what I was doing. Like I love seeing y'all's comments, but I'm always like, oh, and then I have to stop my sentence, but then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna forget what I was talking about. But I love this comment. Yes, we are in real dark mode this time. That was not intentional. The background is always darker, and this presentation is just dark because that's just the slide deck that I chose, but I do like it. Lighting, I wonder if you mean lighting like in this room or lighting the presentation. If you mean presentation, yeah, that was by design. If you mean lighting in this room, that was not by design. This fan thing doesn't work anymore. The light is not turning on. Big problem. So now I'm using like too many lamps. So that was not by choice, but I'm glad that you like it anyways. No worries at all, dude. Like seriously, don't worry about it. I love seeing y'all's comments and interacting with y'all. That's why we do live streams. If we didn't want to interact with you, we would just do recorded videos and post them on YouTube. But we're doing live streams because we like interacting with y'all. You're in shadow. The video is really good. Oh, that's not intentional, but I'm really glad that you think that looks cool. Maybe this is the effect. I'll just tell my landlord to not turn the like fix the light bulbs, whatever. But yes, that's kind of the difference between the two worlds of generative AI and the two models that you can choose. So if it wasn't clear, we're going to be focusing on the open source kind of like world today. That's just because it's kind of easier for developers to work in, and also it's just like more power to us. It's easier to control. So yeah, that's kind of the difference between the two worlds. Hi, I see some new people joining us. Hello. Here's a check-in link if you didn't get it before. Make sure to check in. I will push it one more time at the end, but check in if you haven't. We're just getting started. So, I will put in for advance. Sometimes there's some words on these slides that are just like weird and random, and I'm not going to talk about them, and that's because I fed my like code and like my general outline for this stream into a presentations AI generator, which is why these slides look super cool. I did not do them. I'm really bad at design. AI did that for me. So this is like a great way of outsourcing your work. Like I'm really bad at design. AI can do it for me. I'll do all the code and everything else, but AI gets to do the design for me. So it says like beyond the hype. I didn't call it that. I just called it dev toolkit, and it decided to add that in. So here's your Beyond the Hype Developer Toolkit. This is basically just talking about what we're going to be covering today. So we're going to be covering three main tools. First, we're going to be talking about Hugging Face, and we're going to use it to find and host our models. Then we can kind of think of Hugging Face as like our like big gigantic universe of any AI content that we need. And then we're going to have Streamlit, and Streamlit you know, like think about as like something that is magical that can build user interfaces in Python, and you don't need any web dev experience, so it can just directly build something for you without web dev experience. And finally, we're talking about Cursor. You've probably heard about Cursor before, and Cursor is just basically an AI native code editor, and we're going to use it to write, debug, and refactor our code, and it's going to be super duper fast. If you were trying to do this by yourself, it might take a couple hours, but Cursor is going to do it for us in a matter of seconds. That's just like a quick overview of what we're going to be doing. And then just also like, this is a very similar slide, but I want to make sure that over these next 2 hours, y'all feel confident in using these tools. Like I said, it's like a medium dive. This stream is like a medium dive into AI dev tools. So hopefully you'll feel more confident and you'll move up a number into your confidence levels for Gen AI. So we're going to start off with Hugging Face. And if you remember like one thing from this whole section about Hugging Face, just remember that Hugging Face, you can kind of think about it like the GitHub of AI. And just like we think about GitHub, like every developer in the software developer community thinks about GitHub like the place to go for open source collaboration and open source software. And that's very similar to what Hugging Face does. Hugging Face is like the central place that people go to see machine learning and see it happen out in the open. So it's where a lot of people like share models, data sets, and tools, and that's going to be all in one place. Also, I feel like what I said earlier might have been a little bit off-putting. Feel free to feel free to put anything in the chat. Like I love seeing y'all's texts, chats, messages like come in, even if it distracts me. Again, that is the point. So feel free to type anything. It doesn't have to be related to the stream, but feel free. So Hugging Face's ecosystem, you can kind of think about it split into 4 parts to make it a little bit more manageable and understandable. So the first part you can think about as the model hub. And so this is like the big part that you'll need to know for Hugging Face. And it's really big because it's got over like 400,000, 450,000, like a big number of pre-trained models that are just available for you. And these models cover like a big variety of tasks, such as text generation, sentiment analysis, and image generation, which we're going to be working on later. And you can name, like, you could literally almost anything that you could think of that you want AI to do. There's probably a model out there to help you do that. And you can get them like fresh out of the box, like how the person wrote it, or you can fine tune them for your specific needs. Either one is available. And the second kind of like part of Hugging Face is data sets. So you can't have machine learning without data. You would definitely know this if you've done a little bit of machine learning. You need data to make your results more accurate. And this is why Hugging Face is another reason why it's super cool, is because it hosts like thousands of data sets that you can use to train and test your models. So you can think about, so if you, let's say you wanted to do sentiment analysis, an example of a data set that would be available on Hugging Face would be like sentiment labeled like tweets, for example. I don't know if they're still called tweets, but like if a tweet was like super happy, like super excited for this event, like very happy, excited, that would be like positive. But then if you have a negative one, like I'm really sad today, like sentiment analysis, that type of tweet, those data sets would be available on Hugging Space. 3, you have spaces, and this is very beginner friendly. Spaces basically just let you host live machine learning demos without having any like web dev experience. So you can use a space to build a like really small app with Streamlit, Gradio, or Flask, and then you can connect it to a model. So like one of the hundreds of thousands of models they have, and then you can instantly share it. So that's why spaces are super useful, because you don't need to create like a super fun like UI front end that just like looks absolutely gorgeous. You can just use spaces and be done with it. And then finally, you've got your libraries. So Hugging Face has super powerful open source libraries that help you build with AI. And we've kind of got like 3 different types of libraries. We've got transformers, and these are used for using and fine-tuning like state-of-the-art natural language processing. So very cool stuff. And then we've got diffusers, and diffusers can be used for building image generators. And then we've got data sets again for processing and managing machine learning ready data sets. We also have like other tools, and it just helps us make our development super duper fast. So that's just a quick overview of Hugging Space. Like those are the 4 parts of Hugging Face that are kind of important to know. Again, I'm gonna like go over it live, like this is what Hugging Face is, but this is just a quick preview to interest you a little bit. So you can kind of think of the different libraries that you'll be interacting with at Hugging Face. You'll be using a lot of them, but the main one that you're going to be using is the Transformers library, and it's literally just called Transformers. I think that's like a movie or a show or something, but that's what it's called. And this library is really important to Hugging Face because it's what gives you access to a lot of different pre-trained models, from like anything from GPT style text generators to classifiers and like everything else. And the best part of this is transformer models, like I think, are very complex in nature, but you don't need to be an expert in machine learning to use them. And the reason for that is because we have this super cool function, and it's the pipeline function. So if you're just getting started with machine learning or AI, pipeline function is like the best way to go. You can think about it kind of like as a wrapper that kind of hides or like disguises all the complicated machine learning stuff, and it lets you focus on like what you want to do specifically, and like not how the machine learning is like coming up with that. So again, similar with AI, like you just tell AI what you want and like what you want to do, and then AI does it for you and doesn't tell you how, it just does it for you. So very similar to that. And that like pipeline function, that's just one line of code, and with that pipeline function you can easily just make a model that handles everything for you. So pipeline can take care of a lot of different things, but the 3 main things that it helps you do that are very useful and would take like hours of time otherwise are pre-processing, inference, and post-processing. So for pre-processing, basically it just takes your raw input. So I say raw meaning like something that hasn't been edited. So, for example, like a sentence or an image, so something you haven't processed yet. And it's going to turn it into a format that your model can understand, because obviously your model is not going to be able to read English and like see images like we would be able to do. So, basically, what that means is for text, like that sentence we were talking about, it means tokenization. So, setting letters to tokens and like converting words into numerical tokens. Second is inference. So pipeline is super useful because it runs your input through this like very, very complex network of the model, and that's where like this like AI kind of like screen that we have happens. That's where all of your input is traced to like different parts of the network and gives you your output. So that's the inference. And then finally, you do your post processing as well. So once your model generates this output, like behind this magical AI screen, and like for example, if we're going back to our tokenization example, it generates like a sequence of tokens. Then it's going to convert whatever the output from the model is back into something readable for us, like humans, like English. So like plain text or labels or something that we can understand, not just like tokens. So your only role within this whole like function is just telling pipeline what you want, like what task you want pipeline to do, and it'll do everything for you. So like loading the model into the environment, pre-processing, inference, decoding, like all of that is handled behind the scenes. You don't get to see it. The model does it like immediately for you, and it's like so much less of a hassle than you having to do everything manually. So you can go from like having nothing to having like AI output from the AI that you can use in your project, whatever you're doing, just using that one line of code. So it's super cool. And it's a really great introduction to machine learning. So when we say like Hugging Face is like so cool and it like makes AI super easy, like I'm genuinely not joking. So what we're gonna do is we're going to try it out. Something, if you've been watching my streams, if you watch them, but if you don't, no worries. If you do, I usually really like doing demos after I talk about something. So usually like I'll present on the PowerPoint, and that means that I'm like lecturing about something and I'm like teaching all about something. And then I switch to VS Code, and then I'm like showing you how to code something. You're coding along with me, you're gaining those skills, and you're getting to see what you learned being put into action like immediately after you learn it, which I think is cool. Hopefully you think it's cool too. But what we're going to do is we're going to open up VS Code. Feel free to open up another code editor. I know I've been like, if you see my other streams, I've been like, oh my God, download VS Code, but I might be pushing too hard. So open up whatever code editor you want. I'm going to open up VS Code because VS Code is my one and only code editor that I will use. Let me pull it up. So while I'm pulling it up, you pull up VS Code or another code editor. Just make sure that you have something that you can run your code on and that you can open up your terminal on. Wow, okay, so it's just not letting me share VS Code anymore. Man, I'm telling you something's wrong with this streaming service. It was working so fine yesterday. I can't even share it. I mean, I can share you Discord if you want to see Discord. So I can't even see what it's sharing. This is so deep. I wonder if it's because it's in full screen. Maybe it's my fault. Sorry, y'all. I'm having slight technical difficulties. Aha! Okay, I got it. I don't know what fixed it, but I got it. Ta-da! That's my VS Code. Quackers and cheese, hopefully you're happy. We're in dark mode here again, so I was getting like bullied for not having dark mode on my other stream. I think I like put VS Code in light mode and just I got like instant outrage from a lot of hackers. So hopefully if y'all are watching, you're happy with the dark mode on VS Code. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna go into our terminal on VS Code or whatever code editor you're using, and we're gonna type in this statement. Python 3 and then. So this is going to create a virtual environment. We're going to be running some code on your computer, and I want to make sure that we're not messing up any other projects on your computer. So that's why we use a virtual environment, because otherwise you might have a project that has dependencies that might get messed up because of what we're running, and I don't want that to happen. Yeah, Quackers and Cheese correct. Most hackers live in the night. See, I'm pretty sure it's nighttime for almost everyone on this stream except anyone in IST, because it's 9:30 p.m. for me right now, and I'm sleepy. But I think the IST hackers are just waking up. Yeah, that's true. Bright lights do burn. See, I think that's why I have yellow lights. Like, I really like my yellow lights because they're not as hurtful to your eyes. Like, when I wake up in the morning, I turn the yellow light on because I'm like, oh, it's happy light. And it's not like blinding, like hospital, like elementary school lights. Yes. Sorry for the tangent. But that's the statement you're going to run. By the way, if you're on Windows, just do Python. You don't need to do Python 3. But if you're on a Mac or a Linux, you're going to need to do Python 3. So I'm going to run that. And that's going to create my virtual environment. You can see here, it created my virtual environment over here. And so it created that virtual environment, but we're not in our virtual environment yet. We just like created it. So in order to actually create that virtual environment, we're going to run another statement. And we're going to do source then /bin/activate. Pretty self-explanatory, but we're just activating the virtual environment. Super instant code. It activates the virtual environment, and you can see here it says event. That means you're activating or working within the virtual environment. Ooh, golden goes with your slides. Yeah. I think the golden effect is I think that's the like person whoever makes the visuals for Major League Hacking on Global Week, because I didn't make those, but I think whoever did that, I have no idea who it is. Yeah, golden lighting. Could you zoom in just a touch? Yes, I got you. Don't even worry. I was working on an Amtrak a little bit earlier and I couldn't see anything, so okay, I just zoomed out. So I zoomed out for a little bit so I could actually see my code and not just like squint into oblivion. Let me do one more. No, damn, okay. I swear. Brain is not functioning as well as it should be. I keep hitting the zoom out. Okay. I might have made it too big. That's okay. Nothing can be too visible. Hopefully that worked. Crackers and cheese. Let me know if you want it bigger. What programming language should this be in? I'm using the code command in Mac terminal. Oh, so you don't want to use it in your terminal. You want to run it in the code developer code like IDE that you're in. If you have VS Code, which you probably do, because I feel like I've seen you at one of my streams before where I told you to download VS Code. But if you have VS Code, just open it up in your terminal. What that means is you're going to go to VS Code, you're going to click this terminal tab up here, and you're just going to click new terminal. If you're on a Mac, do the up arrow, shift, and single quote, and that should also open up a new terminal. Right now, we're not really coding in a programming language, but we are going to be coding in Python, which is why we do Python. We're running Python in our virtual environment. Yay, glad to hear that. Hi, I see some new people joining us. Hello. We're just getting started. Open up VS Code. Dacia's right. You could use Google Firebase Studio if you do not have VS Code. You can also use Google Colab. Replic's a good idea too. Lots of good options, but I'm a big sucker for VS Code, and it takes like 2 seconds to download, which, by the way, shameless plug. I'm telling you VS Code should sponsor me because like I plug VS Code so many times in these streams. I'm like, VS Code. And like, this is not a paid promotion. I just really like VS Code. So feel free to go to that website and download. Something else super cool about VS Code is you don't have to go to a specific download link. It just auto-detects what system you're on and it downloads it for you, which I think is cool. So, but with that in mind, I see a comment. Okay, I feel like I'm not defending it. I feel bad telling like forcing people. I'm like download VS Code, but it's like I just don't really use another IDE. So if you run into a problem in whatever editor you're using, I can try to help, but like I don't use whatever IDE you're using. If you use VS Code, like I can help you debug and troubleshoot like 100 times over. Um, hello, Innovate. Definitely didn't pronounce that right, but you don't need any tools in your terminal. Not sure what that means. We're just running a couple of commands in our terminal to get us set up in a virtual environment. Not sure what you mean about. Not sure what you mean by tools. Let me know if there's something I'm missing. So typical with programmers. Next will be about your okay, yeah. Actually, dude, this is bad. I rewatched one of my like I didn't rewatch it. I like clicked to a part, and I because I don't know. I clicked to a part. I was watching one of my streams, and I could hear my keyboard, and I had no idea my mic was that sensitive because like I will be on video calls and people will be like, I can't hear you, but for whatever reason, this streaming service just picks up on my mic so well, and it picks up on my keyboard. Like I can't hide for a second. Like I can't like respond. Like I can't do anything because the second I start typing on my keyboard, somebody will hear it. So yeah, it's. Y'all better not say anything about my clicky keyboard. It's not clicky. It's on my Mac. I can't change it. Hello, Off the Wall. Thank you for joining us. We did not just get started. We're close to being halfway through, but we have also just begun like quick introductions like about Gen AI or AI dev tools. So we just ran this command in the terminal. So run that command in your terminal and you will be mostly caught up. Yeah. Valid. You can use PyCharm. PyCharm's also good, but I will always plug VS Code. Use VS Code. PyCharm's good though. So now that we're done with that, we're going to make a new Python file. I'm going to call it hello.py. Feel free to call it whatever you want, but super important, you need to make that file in whatever current folder you have. So I've got like this current folder you can see here up in the search bar. It says code because that's the name of my current folder. And I'm going to put in my file here. So you can change the hello, but just make sure you're doing .py because we're going to be coding in Python and you need that file extension for VS Code to run your code properly. So call your file whatever you want, just make sure you're doing .py and make sure your file is set like this, like outside of all the folders. Well, not outside all the, it looks like that for me because this is my like global hack week folder, but it just has to be outside of your virtual environment to make sure that your file path works properly. So now that we've got that, we're going to type. We're going to make some real code, y'all. This is going to be so cool. So we're going to do from transformers import pipeline. So here's that super duper cool oh my gosh, yeah, here's that super duper cool pipeline function that I was talking about. We're using it, and then transformers is just that library that I was talking about. And then we're going to do classifier. We're setting a variable. We're going to set the classifier variable, and we're going to do pipeline. We're using that pipeline method, and I'm going to use sentiment analysis, just like I was telling y'all. So this is that part where I was saying you want to tell pipeline what you want from it. So here I'm telling pipeline, like, I want you to run sentiment analysis. Again, you could do anything else in theory here, but I'm doing sentiment analysis because that's what I want to do for this little short demo. And also, if you don't know Python and some of this is confusing you, just let me know. I like to think that Python is a little bit more intuitive and it's more English structured than other languages, Java. But feel free to let me know if something is confusing you and I can explain that to you. So now that we've got our classifier variable, I'm going to set our result in a result variable, and I'm going to ask the classifier to classify this statement. I absolutely love this AI workshop because why not give myself some praise right there? And then we're going to print that result. So whatever the pipeline of sentiment analysis thinks that this statement, what it classifies the statement to be. So before we run that, we're going to run some couple quick statements in our terminal to make sure that we can actually have our transformers model. So we're going to do pip install transformers torch. Oh my god, torch. Pip install transformers torch. We're gonna hit enter. This is gonna take a little bit of time, so just be patient. It usually takes like 2 to 3 minutes every time I run this demo. But yeah, just be patient with it, and if it's taking like an abnormal amount of time, just let me know. Also, I promise I'm not like a fat finger typer or like really bad at typing. I get tired past like 9 p.m. So I'm like really tired and my eyes are like blurring and I can't see the letters as properly. But there you go. It has run. It is done. It is good to go. It's telling me a new version is available, so I'm gonna do that, but don't do this. I mean, it's not gonna hurt if you do this, but it's just telling me a new version is available, so I'm just going to update because why not? And hopefully that doesn't crash anything in this demo because it didn't say that when I was doing that earlier today. So if it crashes something, I'm gonna be really upset. It says successfully installed, so I'm going to take it at face value. So after we've done that, we're going to run our file in the terminal. So again, I'm doing Python 3, Mac and Linux users follow along with me. If you are those users, do Python 3. If you're Windows, just do Python. So I do Python 3. I'm going to use the name of my file. Again, if you renamed your file something different, put that name and then hello.py. Running it in my terminal and oops, I forgot to save. Hello. And it is running, hopefully. Yay! It ran. Yippee! It worked. Yeah, by the way, quick debugging there. It wasn't like it just didn't do anything, and that was because I didn't save the file. So it was like an empty file, and it was like, I don't know what you want from me. So that's why it didn't work initially, but it did work now. Great. What should we do if we do not have the Transformers library installed? Great question. Install the Transformers library. That's what that statement pip install Transformers torch does. Run that in your terminal and you'll be good to go. That's why Transformers had like a little yellow squiggly line under it because there was no Transformers library. What was the name of the comment to install? Yeah, the comment to install was pip install Transformers torch. There you go. That's the comment you want to put in your terminal. Oh my god, off the wall 40. You got it. Not a question mark. Don't add the question mark to the end, but yes, you got it exactly. So there is the output that we get, and it's exactly what we thought it would be. So it's going to give you a label positive. That's the sentiment analysis. It labels it as positive, and it gives us a score of like 0.98. And that's because like I'm using like absolutely love exclamation point and like the sentiment analysis generators going wild. And it's like, oh, they're super happy. And obviously, because I'm happy. So it's really good at that. If y'all want to do something fun and give me a fun but appropriate sentence that you want me to try with the sentiment analysis, send it to me so I can show you that this is a live demo, obviously. So send me a sentence if you want to see something tried live. I'll wait for a little bit. While I'm waiting, so this tiny like pipeline function does all of the heavy lifting for you. You're literally just importing one function and you're importing pipeline from the Transformers library. And now you have like a completely functional tool that can analyze sentiment of any text for you. So you don't have to train the model. You don't have to like do like really heavy intensive setup and no fine tuning. Like you just pass it a sentence and the model is going to tell you what that analysis of that sentiment is. So it's super clean, super simple. And that same like one line pattern of using pipeline works for like tons of other AI tasks. So if you change the name in the pipeline function, so instead of sentiment analysis, you can change it to something else and try something completely different. So you can do like text generation, summarization, like image to text. Like there are so many models and there are so many different things that you can do. Ooh, Ritesh has a beautiful sentence for us. You know, sometimes I wonder why I can't copy and paste. Let me just open up Twitch. For some reason, the streaming platform that we use, you can't copy comments. So I'm often just like typing comments, but this is a really long and beautiful story, and I want to give it the respect that it deserves. So I'm going to go copy it from Twitch. Damn, it's going to make me sit through an ad to get to the chat. All right, I'll just type it out. It's not that deep. I am so unbelievably thrilled. I can't tell if this is a happy. Wait, I think I'm confused. I don't know what the AI is. I think the AI is going to say it's positive, but I'm confused. I cannot tell if this is a positive or a negative sentence. What a beautiful. This is such a masterpiece of progress. Dude, what is. I feel like you prompted ChatGPT to give you a confusing sentence. Like, this isn't positive or negative. Ooh. I entered the command pip install and it ran, but I got this error: module not found, no module, new transformers. That is weird. Let me see what I can do. So I want PI3 engineer girl X. Can you confirm that you ran the Python 3 -m venv and then the source venv bin activate, and then you followed the instruction, like your file looks exactly like my file looks, and you have your file outside of your virtual environment in your folder structure. If all of that is true, put it in the chat, and then we can troubleshoot some more. Should it? I'm not sure that should be positive. Like, you have positive indicators, but you also have negative indicators. Like, you have like empty and like fell apart. Yeah, it's positive. See, it is a little bit less confident in that, though. Mine was like 99998, but yours is like 997, a little bit less confident. But yeah, there you go. It is labeled as positive. It's probably just because of like exclamation, beautifully, happier, like loved. It's just picking words. This is not like as intelligent as it could be, but it's just a small example. But thank you for that very cool example. Really appreciate the effort there. Mine said that consider adding the path no script location what to do. Can you send me the exact error that it said? It sounds like your virtual environment didn't install properly, or you put your file in a different location. So send me the exact error and we can troubleshoot some more. But give me a thumbs up, emoji, something like did it in the chat if you got it working for you. Want to make sure that we are progressing as we should. I'm seeing a couple of like struggles in the chat, so I also want to make sure that we got some successes and that people are able to do. Okay, consider adding this directory to path, or if you. Okay, so Makalina, I'm going to ask you the same thing. If your Windows, do Python. If your Mac or Linux, do Python 3. But make sure you first ran Python 3 -m venv. Second, you ran source venv /bin /activate. And then third, you made this Python file. You did .py, and you put it in a location outside of your virtual environment, but still in that same folder. Fourth, you copied the entire file that I have here exactly as is. Like, you should make sure you're spelling things right and there's no like error lines under your code. And then again, that same command, pip install transformers torch, and then Python 3 or Python, depending on what system you're on, and then file name .py. Run that in your terminal. And if you followed all those instructions and you're still having problems, let me know. Can you send all commands stepwise? Yeah, okay. This is why I run my documents. Let me pull up my document. I didn't make one for this session, but I probably should have. I usually have like a running Google Doc of things that are important during the session. I did not do that this time, but I got you. Let me quickly make that. So we're going to do Python 3, Python if Windows dash 10, then. And I know you probably don't see anything. It's because I'm typing on Google Doc, and I will share this with you quite quick. I'm just typing all of this. Oh, actually, let me just copy and paste it from the folder. And then click install transformers torch. Okay. This Google Doc will have all of your. Oh my god, let me do the link shortlisting again. That's so annoying. Hold on. One moment. No. Here is the short URL. Boom. That's the Google Doc. So these are all the commands that you need to run. If it's just in plain text, that's because you need to run it in the terminal. If it's like in that weird black thing, that's because I copied it from the file, and you need to run that in your file. So again, could I get some confirmation from y'all that it's working? Like a thumbs up, an emoji, smiley face. Did it? It works for me. Just some confirmation from anybody. Just want to make sure that it's not just working for me. Damn. All right. That's okay. Hopefully it's working for y'all. Type in the chat if it's not working for you, and we can work on that a little bit more. But back to the slides, back to the lecture. So I talked about like having thousands of models on the Hugging Face hub, and it can feel really difficult to like navigate all these models and pick one. So there's like a really simple way that you can pick your model. Just like don't browse, first of all, when you're looking for a model, like filter for your specific task. If you know you want to do sentiment analysis, like type in the word sentiment so you aren't like browsing through the hundreds of thousands of different models. Second, always read the model card. It's basically like the model's README file, and it'll have all the information of what the model does and what you can use it for. And also, you should check for like downloads and likes. And I know that sounds very much like signaling, like not really a real metric, but it's actually really important to check for downloads and likes when you're checking models, because if there's a lot of downloads and there's a lot of likes, that means that the model is reliable and a lot of people have used it. But like vice versa, if there's not a lot of downloads and not a lot of likes, the model might not be as reliable, and you might not want to test that out. And then also just check out how the model works. In Hugging Face, there's like something called an inference widget. So you can test out your use case, so what you want to use your model for, before you start writing your code, just to make sure that that model works for you. So that's a quick little way that you can choose your model. So like I was saying, there's a lot of different things that you can do with these models. You can like automate like super long processes, like customer support tickets, like labeling them, putting them into different folders and sectioning them off. You can automate that, or you could build some super creative apps. These models are just like really stepping stones to help you build your end product, and to help you address a lot of different problems. So also Magdalena and PI engineer girl, I did not forget about you. If you are still having problems, please text. I will love to help you out fix that. So I told you we were going to do multiple demos. We're going to do a big live demo to close out our Hugging Spaces talk. And oh, sorry, I jumped the gun there. So we're going to go to Hugging Spaces, or Hugging Face. So I'll put that link in the chat. huggingface.co, so go to that. Okay, so what error message are you getting? Module not found error, no module named transformers. While I'm fixing, or while I'm getting this issue figured out, if y'all could just go to Hugging Face and make an account, that would be great. Mm-mm-mm. Mm. Pip install transformers. Oh, sorry, this is the link, by the way. Ooh, quick question for you, PI3 engineer girl. When you are looking at your file, if you've already typed the code in, when it says from transformers, import pipeline, what is there a squiggly line, like any of any color under transformers? Because that means that you don't have transformers downloaded. Oh, let me not. Okay. Source is not recognized. Mehek, are you in a Windows environment? OneDrive is making me think Windows. Yellow squiggly line under classifier in the third line. I think there's one under mine too. No, there's not. I lied. Okay, so that means Transformers is downloaded. Hmm. Okay, can you, PI3 engineer, can you run the source bin activate line one more time and see if it's redirecting you to a virtual environment? Thank you. Mahek, if you're in a Windows environment, make sure that all the commands you're using in the terminal don't use Python 3. You have to be using Python. I think that's why you're having your problem. Because if you do Python 3 and you try to go for source, it's not going to show up. So I think that's your problem. Let me know after you try with Python. I have the same error as Mahek. Okay, off the wall. Do you have a Windows? If you do, try Python. You use Python. Okay, that's not great. Ritesh says, looks like you're on Windows PowerShell, so instead of using. Oh, oops. Okay. Ritesh is right here. Sorry, y'all. I forgot about the difference between Mac. I thought I had it with the Python and Python 3, but I forgot that there's a separate command. Super sorry, y'all. If you are on a Windows, let's change that in the instructions. You're going to want to do what Ritesh said. So dot backslash venv backslash scripts backslash activate. That's how you make a virtual environment in Windows. That is my bad. Hopefully none of the other people on the stream watching are Windows users, because I don't know how you got that working. I used a dot, but same issue. Not sure what dot means. I ran the commands again and still got this error. Did you run it using the new command to activate the virtual environment that Ritesh said? Check the Google Doc that I sent for the updated version. Yeah. At the bottom left or oh yeah, that also helps. Thank you, Ritesh. So VS Code window, bottom left, bottom right. For me, it's going to be bottom left or bottom right. So let me show you what Ritesh is talking about. So right here, on my bottom right, I have this 3.13.2 that says venv there. So it says venv. I know I'm in the virtual environment. If you see Python, just click on it and select venv. and click on it, and here it pulls up all these different things that I want to do. I'm just going to do Vend. So rotation is right. You might have one of these picked. So instead, pick the virtual environment for your interpreter path because that's where we install transformers. Thank you, Ritesh, for those very helpful notes. But hopefully y'all have made a Hugging Face account by now. We're going to switch over back to Hugging Face. So let me go to that link myself and show you what we're going to do. Okay, here's Hugging Face. So for this live demo, we're going to be doing an fun little image to text generator. So we're going to search up for an image to text, and how we're going to do that is we're going to click on this models tab. That's how we access all the models. Remember I was saying you don't want to just browse through all the models randomly, you want to search through them and get the specific models that you want. So to do that, we're going to go here, and in the left-hand like filter that we have here, we have like all these tasks that it can do. So like I wasn't kidding when I said it could do a lot of tasks. Like this is crazy. But we are going to click on image to text because that is what we want for this fun little demo. So it's under computer vision. I'm going to click on image to text, and now it filters into all the models that are based on image to text. So I'm going to use the Salesforce Blip image captioning base just because if you notice, like you can see the amount of downloads, and Salesforce has like 2.25 million. These just have like a couple thousand. So I'm going to use this, probably pretty reliable. So I'm going to use that. So actually, when I run Python 3, I get the error. I thought you said you had a Windows engineer. Because if you have a Windows, you shouldn't be using Python 3. You should be using Python. So, okay, it's getting a little confusing, sorry. If you are a Mac or a Linux user, you should be using Python 3 in your terminals. And if you are a Mac or Linux user, you should be using source venv bin activate. If you're a Windows user, you should be using Python and .venv scripts activate. So that thing that Ritesh said was just for Mac, who uses a Windows MacBook Pro. Okay. Okay, could you just do me a favor? Could you just close VS Code, delete the virtual environment, delete the file, and then just retry it? Because this same error happened to me like a week ago when I was trying this, and I just restarted everything and it worked. So maybe that's what needs to happen for you. Try that. And if it doesn't, just don't worry about it. Just follow along with the demo and we can troubleshoot after just so that we can keep moving because we're like halfway through, and I want to make sure we get to the other tools as well. So if it's not working, I'm sorry, but let's just power through and then I can help you after. So we're on our Salesforce image captioning base. And so here we're going to create a new space. So we're going to create a new Hugging Face space. So this is what I was talking about, those spaces earlier. So we're going to click on space, and then we're going to click on new space, and then we're going to fill this format. So I'm going to call it like active live image describer, because that's what it's doing. It's going to describe an image. And I'm going to click on Gradio just because I think that's the best space SDK for this demo, but there's definitely other options. And just keep it blank. And then on visibility, I'm going to do public just so I can send this to y'all if needed. And I'm going to click create. So now Hugging Space is basically creating like a GitHub repo-like space for your space. And it's got all these different things. For Windows, I should use the command Ritesh said. Yes. On the Google Doc, I've updated it. The Google Doc that I sent earlier at this link, I've updated it to the command that you should use for Windows. So try that out and let me know if that works. But now I'm going to create this space. Looks like it's gotten created, which is perfect. got some instructions on this page. Okay, so we're gonna land in the files and spaces version. So this is where you need to upload all of your files. And here we're gonna click create new file. So I'm going to do create new file, click on the contribute tab, click on create new file, and we're going to call this app.py, just because that's usually the naming convention for like initial Python functions, but feel free to call whatever you want. So that's what we're going to do, and then we're going to type some code into this editor. So first we're going to import Gradio as GR, because we need to import Gradio to be used in this function. And then again, we're going to use that same code from transformers, import pipeline. And now we're going to load that image captioning pipeline like how we did for the sentiment analysis. So I'm going to call it captioner, and I'm going to do pipeline, and I'm going to call the image to text model. It's got dashes in the middle, image to text. I'm going to do comma, and again I'm calling that that model that we saw before, which was the Salesforce with image captioning base. That's the name of that model that we wanted earlier. And then after we've done that, we're going to define the prediction function, the function that's going to describe the image. So we're going to call it def is how you define a function in Python. We're going to do def describe image because we want it to describe that image. We're going to pass in an image for us, and then we're going to add in the results, and we're going to say captioner from that variable that we created earlier. We're going to pass in the image. I'm going to put 0 here, and then we're going to add in that generated text for what it thinks that image is. And then we're going to return that result. After we return that result in that function, we're going to create the Gradio interface. So we're going to do gr.interface, and this is just creating the interface for the Gradio space. And we're going to fn equals describe underscore image. So we can describe that image, that's our function, and then we're going to pass in inputs. We're going to do gr, obviously for Gradio, and then we're going to do dot image type equals, and then outputs equals text, because that's the output that we want from this function. And I'm actually going to add a comma to all these statements just because they're continued statements. Oh, not a period, a comma. And then I'm going to do title equals image describer. I'm going to do my description. Again, creating that comma, but you need that comma there. Description. I'm going to do upload, and we're telling the user what we need to do for this specific project, upload an image, and this app that we created will describe image. And that's the end of our Gradio function. So after we finish that, we're going to do dot launch and then share equals true because we want to share that. So that's the code. So make sure y'all got that. Let me know if you need me to go over something again, if something is confusing. Just double check it's all good. Looks good. Okay, so I'm going to click commit directly to the main branch, commit new file to main. Perfect. It has added my app.py file. Wonderful. I'm going to click back to files. I'm going to add something else. So I'm going to add another file. Again, create new file. This time, I'm going to call this file requirements.txt. So this file is super important. It's the way that we get the requirements needed to run this project. So previously in VS Code and other IDEs that you were using, we just ran things natively within the terminal, and we told VS Code to download these specific technologies for the file. But here in Hugging Face, we don't download things. Hugging Face does that for us, which is why we have this requirements.txt file. So when Hugging Face runs this program, it's going to know that it needs to download that before we do anything else. So we need to download transformers, torch, Gradio, and then torch. Those are the 3 requirements, so just commit that again, commit new file to main, and you're good to go. Go back to your app. So now it's going to start building your space. You can see it says build queued. Be patient. It will take a couple seconds. It takes a little bit to build it out. But now it's going to start building the space. Sometimes it'll take under a minute. Sometimes it'll take a little bit longer. But you can watch the build log. It's like building right now. You see here it says container application startup, but it's like actually just running right now. It'll take a little bit, but in the meantime, Mehek and PI engineer girl, haven't heard from you in a while. Hopefully your problems were resolved, but let me know if it wasn't. So we're just waiting for it to run. Just so y'all are not bored, I'm gonna play some music so it's not just like awkwardly me staring at you. So if anyone else is working, please let me know in the chat. Your computers are probably faster than mine. Mine's a little old, so it's taking a little bit longer. But if anyone else's is working, let me know. Actually, I was just going over my code and I noticed that I had an error. That might be why it's not starting. I accidentally put a period here instead of a comma. It might be a little confused. So let's fix that. Sorry, y'all. Make sure that you use commas throughout. I accidentally put in a period. And while I'm doing that, let me just make sure that I don't have any other bugs here. But it might have gotten confused, and that might have been why it wasn't running. Or maybe it's just slow, not sure. I think everything else is good. Yeah, so make sure you've got a comma at every line, not a period like I did. Yeah, okay, that's good. Maybe you'll run like super fast now. I don't know. I feel like now it's just angry at me for not getting it right the first time. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm gonna go. Oh, can you show or share the app.py? Yes, I got you. Let me go copy it and I'll put it in the doc. Okay. I'm gonna add it to the bottom. Ooh. It has been added. Oh, it copied and pasted really weird. That's not great. Okay, here. Let me try to copy and paste it a little bit better. I don't know why I did that. Okay, there. That works too. Okay, I'm actually gonna change the image cat like model that we use because it's taking way too long, and I think the Salesforce model takes a bit longer. So I'm gonna do NLP connect the GPT-2 image. So if this works, I'll update the code for y'all, but this is a different image captioning model that works a little bit quicker than Salesforce. It's like obviously not as reliable and maybe not as strong, but oh. Okay. Maybe Hugging Face is just slow today. Is it working for anyone else or is it still building for anyone? You can see the status. Oh, it says starting. Okay, wait, I think it's going? It said building over here before and now it says starting. I think that means it's going. Potentially. The application is provisioned and will be available soon. How soon? Okay, well, I don't want to keep spending time on this, so I'll just let that run in the background. Let me know if that's working. Oh, wait, no. Wait, it's actually starting now. Maybe I just needed to be patient. Oh, it says running. Oh my God, there you go. There you go. Oh, yay. Patience is a virtue. This is why people say that. Okay. Hopefully it's working for y'all. Again, tell me if you need help with getting it. And I think it was just that model. Let me update the code like I said I would. Yeah, the Salesforce model is reliable, but it takes a while because it's like so intelligent that you need to just wait a little bit. We don't have a little bit because the stream is already so small, so short. So we want to import that new model, and I put that new model in the Google document. So add that change into your file, and it'll automatically start rebuilding your space. So let me drop an image. I'm going to stop screen sharing this so I can actually upload an image and not dox myself like I've been doing. Do you have a picture of anything? Probably not. Oh, I'm going to upload it a QR code. Just a random QR code. Hey, I uploaded a QR code, so it says upload an image, and this app that we created will describe the image, our image describer. So I uploaded an image. It says it's processing. Hello, 502 Bad Gateway. Hi. Oh, okay. Honestly, that works. Oh, sorry, you don't see anything. I was talking about the description that we put. It says a colorful wall with a pattern of colorful flowers, and I kind of get that because it's like, does an AI really know the difference between like a QR code and flowers? Maybe if we tried a different picture, it'd be more accurate, but I can see the flowers. Hopefully it's working for y'all. I know I did this before and I didn't really get much response, but if it's working, could y'all give me a thumbs up? Because this is like an important demo to test your understanding of Hugging Face. If I get like thumbs up in the chat or an emoji, my face, literally any form of interaction would be great. But I know it's kind of late for some of y'all, so I get it. But if you want to share this project that you've created with others, it is live. There is a link to share it with people somewhere. I think that's it. Let me go back. Oh yeah, it's here. This is your link. You can just copy and paste it. And yeah, if you want to use mine, there's the link for it. That's my image describer. Feel free to click on it. Oh, how do we access terminal within Hugging Face? Yeah, so with Hugging Face, we don't have to do that. So this is what I was mentioning earlier with the requirements.txt file. So when we were coding in our native terminal, we had to do that because we were installing in an environment. But Hugging Face has like these things called spaces where you don't download those tools yourself. It does it for you, which is why we did requirements.txt. And we told Hugging Face we need transformers, Gradio, and Torch, and it'll download that by itself. So we don't have to do that. It should just run automatically. So once you commit both these files, your app.py and your requirements.txt, it'll start automatically running your app here. So if y'all want to see an example of how that works, there's my link. But I'm going to move on. Let me know if y'all need anything. So now we're going to move on to Streamlit. By the way, Streamlit is one of our partners here at MLH. So it is very important to us that if y'all really like this presentation and you like Streamlit a lot, that you go ahead and visit our Streamlit link. So if you're really interested in Streamlit in general, or you get interested after this presentation, visit that link. It's got a lot of amazing resources and some quick setup guides that give you some more information other than just this slide. So check out our links. Streamlit is one of our amazing partners. But a little bit more about what is Streamlit in general. So now we know where to find our AI models, like where we can go to get them, Hugging Face. So now we want to know how we can build like a front end for these models. Like we could have had a mini front end over there, but that was hosted within Hugging Space. So if we want to build a front end without a web dev team, that's why we have Streamlit. So Streamlit is a super cool Python library that basically turns data scripts into shareable web apps, and it's like done instantaneously. So something super cool is that you don't have to know any front-end development. You don't even know like HTML, CSS, or JavaScript. So if you came to my intro to web dev sessions that I was running earlier this week, you don't need any of that knowledge for using Streamlit and building web dev through Streamlit. So obviously that knowledge is useful, but just for this, it's not necessary. And if you can write Python, then you are now a web developer, and that's the power of Streamlit. Streamlit has a couple of really cool core concepts. It basically just runs your script from top to bottom anytime your user interacts with anything. So like clicks on something, scrolls on something. And that's kind of just like a command that you can use to activate Streamlit, where you will type a variable name on a line and Streamlit can render it like onto the page. So if you say you want something, Streamlit has that training and that data to be able to generate output that helps you with that. And like, again, creating interactive widgets is just like super easy. You're just saying a variable and it feels very intuitive. So caching is something that is a really important concept, but it's also a very important concept to AI tools. Loading a big AI model can take a lot of time and memory. Y'all saw that when we were trying to load the Salesforce model. Like it took a crazy amount of time. And that's because it was like a really advanced AI model. So it's definitely difficult and it takes up a lot of time. And you can't do that every time like a user interacts or like clicks on a button or something like that. So because of that, you need to cache. And what that means is we add a single line to the top of our file. We're going to call it what's like at st.cache underscore resource. And that line is a loading function on top of your file. And basically, you're telling Streamlit, run this function only once, and then you're going to load the model in using this function. And then you're going to reuse that loaded model in for every interaction that you have with a user going forward. And that makes your app super efficient because that way you're not loading in the same AI model over and over again every single time. You're just loading one and then you're using that same model again and again. And that's what caching is. And that's why caching is so useful within Streamlit. So you can build professional layouts like super, super quick. Layouts are super tricky. If y'all tried web dev or have tried like CSS, it takes a lot of work, but Streamlit makes it really easy. You can use single line commands and like add a sidebar, elements and columns, just like really complex web dev UI concepts that would be more difficult if you didn't have like an AI working with you, if you just had your plain knowledge. So that's another reason why Streamlit is super cool. So another thing that's really important for like building chatbots or any app that in general that just needs a memory, that concept is state management. So by default, Streamlit and a lot of other services are stateless. Stateless just means that your service, whatever service you're using, in this case Streamlit, it's going to forget everything that you told it on each rerun, which is why it's like really complicated to build things because your model doesn't remember anything. So if you want to build a chatbot that remembers conversation history, that is going to be st.session/state. So very similar to the cache, but this time you are asking it to remember the state. So it's basically just a Python dictionary that keeps consistent and keeps going through every time you rerun your app. So the pattern is super simple. You basically just check if your list of messages exists within whatever session state you're using. If not, you're going to create a list of messages. Then every time a user says something, you're going to add their message and the AI's reply to their message to that list. So then you're going to loop through that list one more time and you display the history. So that's like the basic pattern for any conversational AI app in Streamlit. And that's why it's super useful. Hello, hi, thank you for joining. No worries at all. We are like 1 hour and 30 minutes in. We finished one of our major tools and now we're covering Streamlit. So you came in time for the other two tools, but feel free to watch the rest of this workshop offline later. So yeah, that's a little bit more about Streamlit and how it's the key to building chatbots and how using state management is really important to maintain history. So we're going to do another live demo. Hopefully the previous live demo that we did worked for y'all. I know it took a little bit longer and we had to change the model that we used, but hopefully it did end up working for you. So we're going to do another model. So we're going to go back to VS Code for this one. Okay, now that we are back in VS Code, I'm going to create a new file. Stop that. I'm going to do yay.py because this stream is so yay. And in this file, we're going to do basically similar things. Where can we get the slide deck? It is not published online anywhere. If a lot of y'all want it, I don't really know how I would link it because it's like a PowerPoint, like a like a Microsoft PowerPoint. If you really want it though, I can send it probably later through the Discord. But we're going to install the Streamlit and the Transformers library. We already have them like in our terminal, so we don't have to do them, but I'm going to do it anyways, just for consistency's sake. And also we're installing Streamlit, so make sure you run these commands. Pip install Streamlit Transformers. So we haven't done that. We just installed Transformers, but we're specifically installing Streamlit here. So make sure you are running that command. It's going to take like a couple of seconds, but it'll be over soon. Boom, there you go. And then we're going to do pip install torch. I think it already installed torch, so I think it will just, yeah, boom, there you go. So we installed Streamlit and the Transformers library, so that's good. Make sure you make that new Python file. And we're going to start off with some imports like we always do. This time we're going to import Streamlit. And just so that we don't have to type Streamlit like every single time, we're going to do as st. If you do as, that basically just means whatever this import is, you can rename it to something else like shorter, more memorable, whatever, that you can use in your files. And then we're going to do from Transformers import pipeline, just like we've been doing. These tools kind of build upon each other. It's cool. And I'm going to do st.title creative story helper chatbot. So we're going to make a little chatbot that helps us generate a creative story. That's if you couldn't tell by the title. So that's going to set our title for our app. And now we're going to do what we were talking about earlier. So we're going to use the st.cache_resource so that we can avoid reloading that model every single time we run the program. So we're going to use that. We're going to do st.cache_resource, and then we're going to make a new function. I'm going to call it load model, and I'm going to do return pipeline. This one I'm going to do text generation. So I know we've done a couple of different pipelines, but this one we're going to do text generation because we want to generate text for our helper chatbot. And we're going to use the GPT-2 model just for quickness. And then we're going to load that model and we're going to put that into a model variable. So just some quick and easy code there. And like again, we're just using GPT for the demo, but feel free to swap it with something else. I just don't know if it'll work because I know GPT works. And again, like we were talking about the session state, we need to make sure that the session state is containing memory. So to keep that session state and keep track of messages during the app run, we're going to add some code. So I'm going to say if messages is not, or just not, because that's Python, and set st.session_state. Then we're going to add those messages. It looks like I typed it twice. That's on me. Then we're going to do st.session_state messages, and we're going to make that equal to an empty list. So we're making a new list of potential messages. Then we're going to loop through the stored messages that we already have and display them using like a chat UI basically. So we're going to say for message in st.session_state.messages. So we're getting each message and we're saying for each of those messages with st_chat_message where the message has a role, basically saying that like we want the stored message from the chatbot. And then we're going to say st.markdown. So basically what this is doing is we have that role, and now we're going to convert that into content. So this is using our st.chat_message function to show messages in chat bubbles. So the user messages on one side and the bot replies on the other. So this will have like your traditional chat feel. So it'll add to that kind of feeling that you're talking to a chatbot and make your program a little bit more complex. So now we're also going to add a chat input box at the bottom. So we're going to say if prompt is not equal to, or is the st_chat_input, and then we're going to say write your story prompt here. We're going to append the user's message to our existing list. We're going to do just like what we've been doing, the state messages, and here we're going to use the .append function, and we're going to use that role. So we're going to say the role is going to be user, comma, content, and then we're going to say content is going to be the prompt that the user gave us. Then we're going to display that message immediately, like as soon as the user has typed it, we're going to display it. We're not going to wait for the agent because obviously we want to see what the user, which is you, has typed. Oh my gosh, user. Then we're going to do st markdown prompt, again, to make that chat bubble come to life. And then we're going to do response equals model, comma, max length equals 100, just so that we're limiting the size of the response with the bot, otherwise it'll go crazy. We want it to be a sample, and we're going to set the temperature equal to 0.7, just so the responses are a little bit more reliable. And then I'm going to run the normal formatting things that we do, and this is our generated text. Okay. Then we're going to append the chatbot's message to our current list here. So we've got the user's messages appended, and now we're going to append the chatbot's message. So I'll just copy this from what I did before. And instead of role being user, I'm going to do assistant. So you could do like chatbot or whatever, but I'm going to call it assistant. And your content is not going to be the prompt anymore. It's going to be the response from the chatbot. Then you're going to display the bot's response. So you're going to do with st.chat_message, and then we're going to call it an assistant. R colon, and then st_markdown response. It's not defined. Oh, sorry, not underscore, dot. Okay, so that should be our code. I'm going to go ahead and click save. Sorry, I know that was a lot of code. Let me know if you have any questions or if something didn't make sense, or if you want to see something again, let me know. But hopefully you're coding along with me and running this with me. So now we're going to run it. Make sure you save. I just saved. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to save, and I'm going to run a humanity by terminal. So I'm going to use Streamlit run, and I called it yay.py. So put your file name, Streamlit run, yay.py. And it's opening up a URL in Streamlit. So let me show y'all what that looks like. Let me stop my VS Code and go over to Streamlit. Boom. So it's got that pulled. Oh, you can't see it. It's got that pulled up. It's my creative story helper chatbot. So got my story prompt here. So write me a story about a late night technical stream about AI developer tools. So you can see it's thinking over here. And this is what we were doing. We added that message from the user in, and now it gave me the AI response. So it's giving me what I asked for, and it's giving me some response. So it's like a little crazy and it's a little confused, but this AI model loads a little bit faster. It might not give like as consistent a response, but it's still generating a story for us. So that's great. And you can keep going with it. It takes your input prompt, and this is a Hugging Face model that uses that model to generate some super creative text responses, and also demonstrates this really fun chat conversation history with our chat style UI. So I want to see some crazy stories from y'all. So put a prompt in for your chatbot and ask me, or send me the story that it comes up with. Also, send me some prompts that you want to see this chatbot generate, because I know y'all have some crazy prompt ideas that I could definitely use. Yeah, sure. Hopefully y'all are coding along with me, but I get if you missed something accidentally. So I already sent the code, how to put the code for the app.py function in the Google document, and I just added in the yay.py file. So actually I should probably name them more coherent things. So let me put, let me add a comment. So app.py is going to be for Hugging Face, image to text code, project code, And then here for our yay.py, this is our Streamlit generated story chatbot code. Okay, it is in the file. Let me know if you need something else. Was the command streamlit yay.py? No. It was streamlit run yay.py. And remember, it's not going to be yay.py if your file name is not yay. Sorry, I just wanted to do something funny, but it's becoming a hassle. But if you called your file name something else and not yay, it's going to be whatever you called it. So if you called it hello again, it's going to be streamlit run hello.py, and you're going to run that in your terminal using your file that you just created. So yeah, that was a quick, fun little demo for Streamlit. You can see that worked super quick, and we got that up and running super fast. So that was super cool. Hopefully y'all enjoyed that. We're gonna move on to our final. Oh, I forgot that I have all these slides. Yeah, so I had a couple of slides also for. This is why the slide deck was so much. What is it? So much space. So much it was so large because I had all these extra slides that we went through. Let's code it live. We already coded it live. So now we're going to switch over into Cursor, our last technology for this session. Damn, I'm out of water. Grab some more after this session. But let's talk a little bit about what Cursor is. We found our models, we built our front-end UI. So now we should think about the code that it's the tool that we're going to use to write the code itself. We've been writing the code so far, but Cursor is actually a code editor that has been used for developing with AI. Ooh, 502 badge gateway. Yay, Cursor. You sound like you like Cursor. I like Cursor too. It's pretty useful. And the best part about Cursor is that it's actually a fork of VS Code. VS Code, my love. So all your extensions, shortcuts, everything will work properly. And it's also just a really cool AI tool because if you've ever heard of pair programming, it's where you program with somebody else and they help you debug your code. And that's kind of what Cursor acts as, like a pair programmer, built-in pair programmer. And also, I thought this was relevant since that we had a GitHub Copilot, building better hacks faster with GitHub Copilot. We have that workshop at almost every Global Hack Week. So it's relevant to talk about the difference between Cursor and Copilot. And the difference is super fundamental. They're not really the same tool. GitHub Copilot is a really great tool at auto-completion, inline auto-completion. So you can think about it as a software engineer who's really good at writing basic code and helping you finish your sentences and things like that. But Cursor is more of deeper reasoning environment. So you can ask it to refactor code, make a new feature, and do a lot of different things. So there's different methods for going about both, but GitHub Copilot is definitely a really great tool. It helps you autocomplete, it helps you write your code. So both tools are great. They're just a little bit different at their core. Cursor is free. Not sure why you think it's not free. I was able to, well, okay, maybe it hits a limit for the purposes of this demo and this workshop. It is free. I was able to run this whole demo and it didn't charge me. Yeah, same statement. So we've got some cool advanced Cursor features. You can use @ symbols within Cursor to give AI super specific context, pointing it to a specific file that you've already written. And you can also use the AI debugger to find issues with your code. So that's super cool. You can ask it why something's not working. And then you can use Control-K or Command-K if you're on a Mac to actually have your AI generate new files just using a description that you have given it. So it really increases the speed of development. So on the topic of the speed of development, we sped through that. So let's go over to our live demo for Cursor. So like I said, we have a live demo for each tool, and now we've got our final live demo for Cursor. So we're going to go back to our Streamlit chatbot app, and we're going to see how Cursor can handle a more complex task. So you're going to open up your code editor. Let me double check. I think I actually had to download Cursor for this, so we might have to do that. Let me double check. Yeah, I thought I downloaded it. I did. Okay, now I'm getting confused. Do. Okay, I think I downloaded it. I think we're good. Let me show you my code really quick. Do. What is the cursor shortcut in VS Code? Let me go double check that. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, sorry. I got a little sidetracked. Oh, you can use it for free in 1 year if you're in college. Yes, that is true. You can also just temporarily download it for this demo. It's really not going to charge you, so don't worry about that. Mm-mm-mm. Honestly, I think you might have to download VS Code. Yeah, you're gonna have to download Cursor. Okay, let me go get that link for y'all. There's an extension in VS Code, but like it's not really working. So anyways, if you are interested in Cursor and you like Cursor, it's always a good idea to have that downloaded. They have specific download links for whatever operating system you're on. If you're on Mac, I would just download Mac OS, Mac Universal. There are ways to figure out if your operating system is ARM64 or x64. ARM64 is if you have like M1, M2, M3 chips in your computer. You can like ask in the terminal. There's like a certain command, but it's not necessary. If you just download the Universal, that'll be fine because it's Universal. So go ahead and download Cursor. While you're downloading that, let me show you. So this is the, oh, I have to go and share that. Stop sharing VS Code. Let me go back to Cursor. Okay, so here's Cursor. Here's our fun little app. And we're going to load in our app.py file. Or actually not for you, it's going to be yay.py. Oh no. Okay, that's not what I wanted. Oh no, it's going to do this whole thing. Don't do it. No. Shoot, I messed up. Okay. I'm going to restart Cursor. Sorry. I accidentally gave it access to my whole computer folder, so I got a little confused. Go away. Sorry, we're hitting like the tail end of the session, and I'm losing it just a little bit. So let me just import it so y'all don't have to worry about that. Okay, boom, there you go. Let me show you. Okay. So I added in my folder. So whatever folder you've been using to run the app.py and whatever else files you've been running this session, open it up in Cursor. So you're going to click File and you're going to click open, and then you're going to open like whatever folder you have. So I have my code here. We're going to open up our chatbot project. So for me, that was yay.py. It might have been called something different for y'all. Like I said, there is a VS Code extension, but in my experience, it either hasn't worked great or it just like bugs out and doesn't work as well. So I find it just easier to download Cursor itself, and it's a quick download. So we've got our code here, and what we're going to do is we're actually going to select the function that's loading our model. So here that we're loading our model, hence definition function loading model. We're going to select that, and we've got our cursor here. So I'm going to click add to chat, Command L or Control L if you're on a Windows, and I'm going to type in an instruction. So I'm going to say refactor this function. Like I said, Cursor can refactor code, which means just moving code around and putting it into different files, making it more organized. So I say refactor this function into its own. Actually, let me extend this and make this a little bit more readable for you. Okay, into its own file, we're going to call it utils.py and import it back into the main app file. So once I enter this instruction, Cursor is going to create a new function. It's going to be called a new file, utils.py. We're going to move the load model function there, and then it's going to add a import load model function into the top of your app.py. So I'm going to click enter, and Cursor is generating the code. It's going to edit our file. You can see it's going through. It's like going in, it's editing. I'm just going to click accept. I don't really care. It knows what it's doing. So you can see the changes that it's making. Like I said, it added in that import statement. It's making that new utils.py function, and boom, it's done. So now it's telling you the load function has been moved to a new file called utils.py. Your main app now imports it from there. You can run your app as before, and now your model loading is handled via the utility model. So now your app.py, or not app.py, yay.py, because I call it something different. It's super clean and it's easier to maintain because now you have that load model function in another file. And you can also add like different features. Cursor can add and integrate a lot of different things, but that's just like a quick, short, and easy sample of something that Cursor can do. Cursor.com refused to connect. Oh my gosh, that's not great. I don't know, it's working for me. If you're in a certain country, it might not work. Sorry, y'all. Hopefully it didn't. Oh, it's crashing. No. Okay, I think I'm back. Sorry, I think my Wi-Fi is getting a little spotty. But I was saying if you're in a certain country, like certain countries, Cursor might be banned. Not sure. Or maybe just reload it. Maybe check your connection, because it was loading for me. Hopefully it works for you. But yeah, that's one of the fun things that you can do with Cursor. You can also ask it to generate new things. So you can put it at the end of the file and you can say like, I want you. So relating back to our sentiment analysis, add a feature to analyze the sentiment of the AI's last response using a valid model. So we'll just tell it to do that instead of giving it a specific model. Display the result as positive, negative, or neutral. Neutral. Using a badge for the response. It's something super cool. So now Cursor is going to find a model and it's going to write a function that runs that sentiment analysis and put that function within our code. So let's try that. So you can see it's generating, it's like running through, it's trying to run some of that code. Yay, off the wall, perfect. Glad to see her that cursor has just finished installing for you. Hopefully y'all are working through that and installing it. But also, for this specifically, like, no need to feel, I know it's, like, kind of hard to get stuff, downloaded quick, so don't worry, this also works for y'all, because I'm just showing you how to use Cursor. We're not, like, actually coding anything. We're literally just asking AI to do stuff for us, so no worries if you can't get that done. But you can see it's running now, and let's actually try that. So, let's go to terminal, and let's open up a new terminal. So it kind of works the same way as VS Code, except obviously we have AI here now. So let's do exactly what we've been doing. Let's use Streamlit because we are using Streamlit. So that's our app service, and Streamlit run.yay.py. Now let's see what it does. So again, it's opening up that link for us. Let me show y'all what that link looks like now. I don't know why my computer just got like really slow all of a sudden. It's starting to like glitch and like, I don't know what its problem is. We have a free open source alternative too. It's called Zed. Maybe we can try it someday. Yeah, Zed and Windsurf for sure. We'll definitely check that out. I mainly just picked, Cursor because it's a little bit easy and a lot of people have heard of it. But yeah, we can definitely check out those other things. Oops, I added in a random bracket. That's on me. I got an error and it was like, you can't run this. And I was like, oh my God, what happened? And it's because I just added in a random backspace in the middle of my code for no reason at all. So I'm going to do again, Streamlit, run.py. It's going to pull up my Streamlit host again. Dog. Okay, I don't know why it keeps giving me that error when it's not there anymore. Oh, it's because I didn't save it. Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna save it, open new terminal, and I'm gonna do my Streamlit on a.py. Okay, it's loading now. This is good news. Yeah, Windsurf is super cool. We are getting double voice. Sorry, not sure why that's happening. I think it's just my computer is getting some problems. I think my computer is like getting tired of me running these streams. It's like way too much processing power on my computer. I gotta figure out some way to lower it, but sorry. Hopefully the quality's getting a little bit better. Okay, well, oh no, there's an error. Oh, it looks like it's not downloading in the virtual environment. Okay, well, let's just try those commands one more time. Maybe it'll work. So I already made my virtual environment. I'm just going to go back to those old commands we made where we were testing the virtual environment, and we were asking for like some specific code. So source, I think it's because I'm not in the virtual environment. I think it's because I opened up Cursor. My computer's been acting up since I opened up Cursor. Okay, now we're in the virtual environment. I already installed transforms. I don't need to do that again. Hold on, so Streamlit. Bro. them. Let me just delete my current virtual environment and let me just start a new one. Okay, Python 3. Hope it's working for y'all. I think my computer's just losing it. It's not happy with me anymore. Okay, good. It's creating a new virtual environment. Okay, my computer is starting to glitch. Like I can see lines of maroon and green, so I think I'm gonna stop there. I'm so close. Okay, wait. Actually, I'm just gonna try it. Y'all, if I just leave this stream randomly, no, I didn't do anything. It was the computer, not me. Yeah, I guess we're just installing this again because I don't think it was installed in this new virtual environment. So I'm doing it again, but hopefully y'all don't have to because your computers are working. Bad gateway, 502 bad gateway. I hope you're still not getting that double voice. Sorry, y'all. I know we're a little bit over. That was the last thing I had in terms of like demo purposes for Streamlit. I was like, I think the only other thing I was trying to talk about was just like general rules for Gen AI and like things that you should avoid. So we're kind of finished with our like lecture and like content. I'm just gonna see if I can try to get this working to give y'all like a working demo that you can add to your like repertoire slash portfolio. But feel free to hop off if it's getting late for you and you want to go to sleep. I'm gonna try to get this working. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So yeah, my computer did not like cursor. It just deleted. Okay, it didn't delete cursor. It just closed cursor, and I got a crash report. So okay, we're gonna stop there. I think my computer is not happy with running cursor. So yeah, we don't have to cover the rest of this. It was just like some common things, like common pitfalls that you should avoid. But that's the end. Thank you all so much for tuning into this session. Hopefully you learned a lot from this session and you got to dip your toes into learning about some more AI dev tools. I would really appreciate if y'all could fill out this feedback form. Give me feedback on this stream, give me feedback on Global Hack Week. Anything that you want to leave feedback on would be much appreciated because we run these events, we run these streams for y'all, and we want to make sure that you're getting the most value out of it. And the only way we can do that is through feedback and seeing what you think. So fill out that feedback form for us. Let me tell y'all what the next stream is going to be. Probably not for a while, I don't think, but we're on day 4 now. Yeah, I'm the last stream for day 4. Our next stream is going to be today in Global Hack Week, day 5. But tomorrow is a super important day. We've got some really important streams coming up. We've got a Q&A with Major League Hacking CEO Swift, and also a couple of really important workshops. So make sure you check that out. Fill out that feedback form. But that is the end of the session. Hopefully you got the Streamlit and the Hugging Face demo working for y'all. The cursor code works perfectly fine. So if your cursor did not decide to crash on you and it ended up going to completion, then definitely feel free to try that demo out, and that'll work too. It's just using the same Streamlit chatbot. It's like the exact same chatbot. It just added like a couple of new features that you can use. So that's it. Thank you all so much. I'm gonna stick around for like 2 more minutes for some questions, but feel free to hop off. I really enjoyed having you here. So thank y'all. I'll stay around for some questions, but bye. Feel free to hop off. Yes, of course. Thank you for joining. Of course. Thank you for joining. Yeah, not sure what you mean by volunteering. Please expand on what you mean by volunteering. It's not like an in-person event where we would need volunteers, but I'm curious about what you think needs help with volunteering. Please expand. I'm gonna stay around till 11:08 to answer some more questions, and then I'm gonna hop off. But if y'all need anything, just at me in the Discord in the channel. My tag is Darshini from MLH. It's just my name and then from MLH. So tag me if you need anything. But I'll stay on till 11:08, 2 minutes from now. Feel free to log off if you don't have any questions. Bye. Just make sure you fill out that feedback form before you go. Hello. Yes. Let me send you that. Here's the schedule link. Yes, of course. Thank you for coming. Yeah. If you want to talk about running some workshops, we usually have our coaches from Major League Hacking run the workshops. But if you want to try that out and ask some further questions, I would definitely ask that in the Discord under Global Hack Week. Submit a post under the Ask GHW channel, and a full-timer at Major League Hacking will definitely be happy to get back to you and answer your question about that. Okay, it's 11:08. It's been a couple of minutes, and I don't see any questions coming in, so I'm gonna hop off. But again, if you have any questions, just ask them at me in the channel, in the public Discord channel, or just ask it in general, and somebody will come back to answer you. So thank you all so much for joining in on this workshop. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm gonna log off. Bye. Have a good night. Have a good day. Bye. Oh, yes, there are a lot of awesome events tomorrow. Bye, y'all. See you next time.